Hello, guys. Welcome to another interesting problem in the series of probability. So, let's start with the problem which is called Will second best be runner up? So, let's read the problem. A tennis tournament has 8 players. The number of player draws from a hat decides his first round rung in the tournament ladder. See the diagram which is given here. Suppose that the best player always defeats the next best and that the latter always defeats all the rest. The loser of the finals gets the runner up cup. What is the chance that the second best player wins the runner up cup? Okay, so we have to find what is the chance that the second best player wins the runner up cup. Okay, so let's start this problem assuming that there are only 8 players, and then we'll generalize it to for different players. Okay, so suppose there are only 8 players. Let's consider any random number. Okay, suppose our second best player goes and occupies the second seat. Okay, so I will denote 2 for the second best player. Now how can he win the runner up cup? Okay, see, let's denote the first best player by 1, and let me write 1 here. Okay, suppose the first best player faces him in the first match itself, that is in the first round, then the first best player is definitely going to win. Okay, and go ahead, and he will go ahead and win. In this case, the second best player will never get chance to reach the semi-finals and win the runner up cup. Okay, so in this case, the second best player cannot win the runners cup. Okay, what if there are other cases? Okay, let's consider, if let's erase this case and let's consider where else can the first best player occupy the position. Okay, suppose the first best player sits on the seat 7. Okay, in this case what will happen is, see, first best player is anyway going to win, right? First best player is the best of all, and they've given in the question that first best player always defeats the other. So first best player is definitely going to win, and he is going to win here also. That means the second best player will win the first round. Okay, because the guy who is at position 5 will play with the second best player in the first round. So in this case, second best player will win here. But compared to 1 and 2, that is first best player and second best player, in the second round first best player will defeat him, and someone else will win the runner up cup who is coming from this side. So second best player will not be able to win the runner up cup. Okay, so if the first best player occupies this position also, second best player will not be able to win the runner up cup. So let's just mark all those places as wrong. So suppose the first best player occupied the fifth position, then also the second best player didn't get a chance. In the seventh position, also the second best player didn't get a chance. Suppose first best player occupies the position 8. In this case, what will happen? First best player will reach the second round. From here, second best player will reach the second round. Again, they will face each other in the second round, and the first best player will win it, and someone else will come in the semi-finals round to face the first best player, and second best player will not be able to win. Okay, so in this case also, when the first best player is occupying the position 8, second best player doesn't have any chance to reach the semi-finals and win the runner-up cup. Okay, let's consider these places. Now what is special about these places is, if the first best player is in these places, okay, then we don't care who else are there in what places. First best player is going to win anyway, right? In whichever place, if first best player is in one or two place, or in third or fourth place, anyway first best player will win in the second round from wherever he plays. Okay, and he will anyway reach the finals. From this side, what will happen is, similarly second best player is the best among all the others, right? See, second best player is only lower to the first best player, so second best player is better than all the others, and second best player will win from wherever he is playing, and second best player will reach the semi-finals in this case, and he will win the runner up cup. Okay, so if the first best player is in any of these four places, right, any of these four places, then second best player can win the runner up cup. So that will be the probability. So the first player has how many seats to occupy his position? Let's count the number of seats that first best player has. So first best player has 7 seats that he can sit on, right? One seat will be which is occupied by the second best player, right? For example, here we have considered the seat number 6. In all the other places, first best player can occupy. So there are totally 7 seats available for him in this case. Out of the 7 seats, if he is sitting on any of the 4 seats, right, on whichever other half of the rung of the second best player, then first best player will win and second best player will win the runner up cup. So this will be the probability in this case. Okay, so let's try to generalize this now. This is the answer for the case when there are going to be 8 players. Let's try to generalize this. Oh, I will erase this and let's try to generalize this. So suppose there were 2 power n players. Okay, here n will be 3. In this case it was 2 power 3, which is 8 players. Suppose there were 2 power n players. In that case, half of the rung can be occupied by the first best player, because the other half will be occupied by second best player. In that case, they both will reach the finals, because the first best player will come from his half of the rung and the second best player will come from his half of the rung, and they both will reach the semi will reach the finals, and in that case they can win the runner up cup. Okay, I mean, the second best player can win the runner up cup and first best player will anyway win. So half of those seats can be occupied by the first best player. So half of 2 power n, these are the possible seats that can be occupied by the first best player. And what are the total number of seats that can be occupied by the first best player? So except the seat on which the second best player is sitting, all the other seats, okay, so 2 power n are the total number of seats. One seat will be occupied by the second best player, all other seats are open for the first best player. So this will be the generalized probability where this will be the answer. So what is the chance that the second best player wins the runner up cup when the total number of players are 2 power n? So it this will be the answer. So this will be equal to 2 power n minus 1 divided by 2 power n minus 1. Thank you.